There are lots of great trails in the Shaver Lake area of California. Some are short and some are quite long. Regardless, they're all fun. Today we're going to tour one of my favorite trails in the area. There are some fun challenges for you and your rig, and majestic views that remind us of why we love the Sierra Nevada mountains. Combined with the interesting history and the great camping and fishing, you just can't go wrong with this adventure. Welcome to 4x4 Places with a Jeep named MrGreen, and this is Swamp Lake Route. To get to the Swamp Lake Route, you first need to get to Shaver Lake, California, which is 50 miles northeast of Fresno, up State Highway 168. In Shaver Lake, turn onto Dinky Creek Road and travel east for 12 miles to McKinley Grove Road on the right. Travel 2.4 miles, which is about 5 minutes, to a forest road on the left with a small sign for Swamp Lake. This is Old McKinley Grove Road. Follow the paved but quickly degrading to dirt road uphill for 3 miles to a left turn onto Forest Road 10S66. Travel north for 1.2 miles to 10S31 and turn left. There is another sign here that points you in the proper direction. From here, it is only 0.8 of a mile to the Swamp Lake Route Trailhead. Swamp is a 12-mile run that will challenge your vehicle and show you some beautiful and amazing things. Getting back can be the way that you came, or you can find your way back one of several ways. The north end drops you into Forest Road 9S10. You can follow this for 1.9 miles to an extremely sharp left-hand turn to stay on 9S10. Follow this 4.6 miles to a left turn onto Rock Creek Road, which leads back to Dinky Creek Road after 10.6 miles. I have never actually taken that way out though. I love this area, so I recommend digging deeper into the Sierra National Forest and see what this beautiful forest really has to offer. At the trailhead, there is a battery of signs. You should check these for the current restrictions on the route. The trail starts out easy and capable rigs can move at a decent pace. The elevation is gradually climbing and increasing in slope. As you climb higher, the terrain gets rougher and your pace will slow. Although there are moments of respite, the route continues to climb in elevation and get a little rougher at each rocky spot. There are some great views along the way. If you have time, you should take advantage of them if you can.
Kurt's on Swamp, woo! Beautiful day.
Eventually, you will reach the first pinnacle of the trail. There is a large area to stop and an old picnic table made of logs that is starting to show the results of age and winter weather. After the first pinnacle, you start dropping down a bit on a better road for a while. Marmots live in this mountain range, and we were lucky enough to see this big fellow for just a moment. The big change in the trail begins once you reach the Mud Lakes turnoff. The lakes are private property, so please obey the signs and stay to the Swamp Lake route. As you pass the South Fork of Dinky Creek and the turnoff, the trail gradually gets a little more challenging as you work your way around the Mud Lakes area. Once around the private property, you will find yourself at the base of the intimidating Rooster Rock.
They still get that little whoop sound.
This steep granite incline is 140 feet long to the first break in the climb. It is a 4-story building elevation difference, which doesn't sound like much until you're in the driver's seat looking up.
view from the top of Rooster Rock.
There are some fun options on the left in the middle of Rooster Rock Hill. This spot has a bypass if you don't feel the need to play here. There's no bypass at the top of the hill climb. You will have several options to play on, so just choose the one that you're most comfortable with.
Yeah, that one's mad.
After Rooster Rock, the trail continues to slope upward. There are a few switchbacks, and in general it is a constant climb. As you get closer to the peak, the road gets easier in places and more forested, but 4 low is still recommended. You will eventually reach Grouse Lake near the top. This is a nice lake to fish for brookies. The highest point of the trail is just a half-mile further on. At the peak of 9,585 feet in elevation, there is a right turn for an overlook of Swamp Lake. We missed this on this trip, but the view looked like this in 2009.
Alright, just above it.
A half-mile from the peak of the trail is a turnoff to the right for Swamp Lake. Pathfinding here can be difficult. If in doubt, stop and hike to the lake for a magnificent view. From the Swamp Lake turnoff, travel another 0.4 miles to an old log cabin. Unfortunately, age is starting to take its toll on this historic place, so please tread carefully. You will travel a short way through a pleasant forest before starting a long downhill descent at 9¼ miles from the trailhead. Unfortunately, we didn't get video of this section. It is rugged and constantly downhill, and it can get quite fatigued, so try to be patient. After the descent, the next uphill section is what I consider to be the toughest spot of the trail. It is a rocky climb to a wedge between 2 very large boulders at the top. And the rock crawling continues for a bit after getting through the wedge. This is a fun spot and one of my favorites on the trail. After this point, the terrain changes. You will enter what is called Mining Town Meadow, and the road gets easier. You will still have some rough climbs to get out, but in general, they are quite moderate compared to the road behind you. At 12 miles, you get to the North Gate. This trail can be ran in either direction, but it doesn't open until August 1st and closes with the first heavy snow, so plan your trip with this in mind. So what are your favorite 4x4 places? Please leave a comment and let me know. If you enjoyed this tour, please subscribe.